Hello, welcome to the Garden of Whedon, where I'm doing something a little different. Actually, in the process of making wine. This is apple wine. You make apple wine once a year on the holidays, um, and this year I'm doing three batches. I've got a batch of green, a batch of red, and a batch of the blend of the two, 50-50. Someone was asking me before. Actually, it's my girlfriend Cindy. She was asking me if I would film my filtering process. She wanted to know how I get the wine away from the yeast without having to mix it all together again. Pouring it out kind of would mess it up. And I told her I use a siphon. I just take a hose and I siphon it right off the top so that it leaves the sediment in the bottom, takes the good stuff off the top. Now, as you can tell, this is the first siphon for this batch. These batches have already been siphoned off once a couple of days ago. They're a little bit ahead of this one. And as you can see, they're clearing up quite nicely. This one here is just finished up yesterday. I let it sit overnight to let it rest a bit. And now I'm siphoning it off to get rid of, so I can get rid of that bulk of yeast there. And of course, it's not quite finished. As you can see, it's not clear yet. There's still some active yeast floating around in there. So once I get it exchanged, get this cleaned out of there, I'll put the wine back in here and let it sit again, just like I've done with these two. And it'll be maybe a week to 2 weeks before it's all settled out completely clear, and I'll siphon it off again, do this same process just like I'm doing right now. And the next time I do it, the wine will actually be drinkable. It'll be crystal clear and drinkable, good to go wine. So I thought I'd show this. It's taking a little longer to get to the bottom than I thought. I wanted to be able to show the whole thing, how I actually get as much of the good stuff out of there as I can without sucking up the yeast, and it's just a simple process of tilting the bottle a little bit at the end to get the good stuff to pool on one side. You suck it out as much as you can, but you don't want to take any of that yeast with it. You want that settled out. So it's you got to be careful with it. As you can see with my hose that I've made here, there's an indicator for me. I've made it so it has this, not only the pipe holds the hose straight for me, but it also gives me an indication of where the end of it is, because this hose is clear, so it's kind of hard to see. And I don't want to stick the end of that hose down into the sediment. I'll be sucking up that sediment. So I just hold it right here for a while. I made this neat little tool this year, as a matter of fact, because last year I realized that, oh my God, I'm having a hard time with doing this. I can't see the end of the hose. The hose won't stay straight, and all kinds of other problems. So I just came up with this idea of sticking inside this pipe here and make myself a nice little cushion handle on the end of it up here. And there you go. I've got a good gauge on it. I've got this container is going to be just large enough to hold this, I think. And we've almost got it. We're almost to the end now. I'll be able to show the careful process of tilting it up and getting the rest out. Let us take our time here. It's a slow process. Wine and growing weed, there's very slow processes, but if you're a patient person, you're willing to take your time, and you're willing to go the extra mile to make sure that things are done properly, you can actually come up with some pretty good product. As you can see, I'm reaching the end here, and I'm now tilting the bottle over so I get more. Now I'm starting to see the yeast coming up into the tube, so I'll extract the tube, and that's it. That's the good stuff, and that is the bad stuff. that's it. That's how that's done. I'll just clean this out, pour that back into there, put a lid on it, and which I have right here waiting to go, ready to go. Put a lid on there and just wait, like I'm doing with these two, for it to finish settling out, and the wine will, the next time I filter it, the wine will be ready to go.